Hey there, it's Seth Dellinger. I'm the creator of the Reimagining Asana program. Today we're going to take a look at downward dog and in particular how you find support through the arms. Now what you'll see is we're not going to try to perfect every last detail of the posture. We're taking just a little small bite here so we can really chew on it. I'm going to be giving you different things to experiment with, and the emphasis is on helping you to feel what's happening in your body. This is what we're always looking at in the Reimagining Asana program. The idea is to put your practice back into the place where you're really in control. You're feeling what works for you. Some cues might work for someone else, they don't work quite for you. Sure, you want to study the postures and understand how the postures work, but you also want to have the capacity to make those adjustments that you need to make for yourself at any given time. So hopefully this video will be helpful to you in doing that. If you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you'll see there's some more information in the caption if you want to take this further. All right, let's get into it. Come onto your hands and knees and just take a moment to shift your weight a little here and a little there. Get comfortable. And now you're going to, in a moment, just make one test movement of going up into downward dog. But don't do it yet because I'm going to ask you to pay attention to a specific thing. And the idea of a test movement is that you're not even trying to do some perfect downward dog. You're trying to feel what's going on. And what I want you to notice in particular is the use of your arms. So when you're ready, tuck your toes under and push up and back, but just feel what happens through each of your arms. Notice if there's any sense of strain. And then you can stay in downward dog for a short time. If you want, you can bend the knees or move around a little bit. But again, just feel how comfortable are you with the weight that's going through your arms. Okay, and then come back down. And if you like, you can even come away from your hands and just sit back for a moment. Okay, and now come again to all fours. And tune into the feeling of how you're bearing the weight now. Notice in particular how you bear weight through your right arm and your right hand, and your left arm and your left hand. Do you have a tendency to actually have a little more weight in one hand than the other? Now, one way to tell if it's feels mostly equal is just to ask yourself, if I were to lift one hand, which hand would be lighter to lift? And you might be testing that out, but in fact, if you put your hands on the ground again, see if you can answer this question without actually lifting. Just feel, if I wanted to take one hand away from the floor, how much effort would be required for that? And then feel kind of the preparatory movement that you begin to do as you think of lifting the hand, and then shift to the other hand and just feel. Does it feel like you're bracing for a larger effort with one hand? Now, whichever hand seems lighter to lift, just begin lifting it, but only the tiniest amount. Just to the point where maybe the skin of the hand is still touching the floor, and then put it back down. And as you do this, can you lift without bending the elbow? So you're really moving your shoulder back. And feel how, of course, when you do this, you put weight into the other hand, don't you? Notice how you adjust the weight through your knees. And where does your head go in space? So you can lift and lower, and then you can pause. You don't have to just make the movement mechanically. You're making the movement in order to feel something. Okay, sit back for a moment. And as you sit, just sense how each of your arms is hanging from your back. Is there a different feeling on the side of the hand that was being lifted from the floor? And now come back onto all fours and slowly begin to lift the other hand. Just do a little bit, again, keeping the elbows straight. And sensing, is this more effort than the first hand? Is there something you feel that helps you to understand why you didn't start with this hand? Again, notice, what do you do with your head when you lift the hand? Where does your pelvis move? Can you make a connection between where your pelvis goes and which knee takes more weight? And then lift one hand and lift the other. But spread your attention throughout your entire body so that you're not so much thinking about just the hand, but you're feeling, what do you do with your spine to lift the one hand and to lift the other hand? And you might notice that you actually move in a slightly different way on one side. Okay. Now, just go ahead and actually come all the way down onto your back so that you can rest on the floor. Just quiet yourself. Feel how each of your arms rests with the support of the floor. Measure the distance from the top of your head down to your left heel, down to your right heel. Just take a moment to breathe here. What you're doing is you're calming your system for a moment so that you can stay in the attitude of listening and paying attention to yourself. You're not engaged in exercise here, but you're trying to learn something about your patterns and the patterns of the movement that you're studying, which is related to how you bear support, you bear weight through the support of your arms. Come back up onto your hands and knees now. And once again, lift the hand from the floor that feels lighter. Still doing a small amount, but as you lift now, pay attention to the hand that remains on the floor and the arm. So as you lift the one hand, where does the pressure go on the hand that stays down? And if you experiment, if you take the weight more towards your thumb and your index finger as you lift the other hand, or if you allow the weight to move out towards your pinky, you might notice it's quite different. Try this on the other side. And just feel, if you wanted life to be easier, where would you aim the pressure into the hand that stays on the floor? Okay. Sit back for a moment to give your arms a break. And then come back onto hands and knees. Just notice if you're getting a little more comfortable overall with being here. And now, instead of thinking of lifting one hand, think about pressing one hand. But notice when you press one hand, how the other hand can become lighter. So in a sense, you're still just lifting a hand, but you're initiating with the hand that stays down, and you're initiating through that arm and that shoulder. Press the hand a little bit to make the other hand lighter. And with the arm that's pressing, notice, what do you do with the elbow? Do you notice that you want to turn your elbow a little bit to the inside or to the outside? So you're still pressing in order to lift, but on the side where you're pressing, try pressing as you turn the elbow to the inside and as you turn the elbow to the outside. And notice, when is the arm the hand that's lifting feel lighter? When does it feel heavier? Try this on both sides. So switch to lifting the other hand, pressing with the other hand, turning the elbow to the inside or the outside. And now, to make it even clearer, actually spin your hand on the floor so that, let's just say the left hand. Point the fingers of the left hand out to the left, and now press through the left hand to lift the right hand. And you'll feel in your left shoulder this is a very different way of engaging. You're only lifting the right hand the smallest amount, but notice how it feels. And then spin your left hand so it's pointing to the right, it's pointing to the inside. And lift the right hand by pressing through the left arm. And then you can try these two variations with pointing the fingers of the right hand to the inside and to the outside as you press to initiate the lifting of the left hand. In an upcoming video, I'm going to provide you with even more variations of this kind, but just see now. If you like, you can sit back and rest for a moment. But just feel if, by experimenting with these different ways of finding support, if you come on to hands and knees now, do you feel any clearer in the support through your arms? And what's it like now to lift up and back into downward dog? I hope you enjoyed this exploration today, and you can look out for more videos coming soon. And in the meanwhile, if you check the caption of this video, you can see where you can get a free training, 3 simple keys to transform your yoga practice. And this is all drawing on the Reimagining Asana program, which you can learn more about on my website, SethDellinger.com. Thanks for being here, and see you soon.